Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Nobody Asked Me. Guys, listen, I'm pumped. I am pumped. We have with us this evening none other than the incomparable Dr. Renee Sunday. Now, guys, when I tell you a Renaissance woman, not only is she an anesthesiologist, she's an ordained minister. She's been voted as one of the top 100 anesthesiologists by Consumer Research Council of America, and has Good Deed TV channel and station, I should say, and radio and all of that kind of thing. So when we speak of a Renaissance woman, fellas, listen, and ladies, listen, we have to quantify that by sharing why those persons are deemed Renaissance persons. So that's why I can unequivocally share with you this evening that you guys are going to be thoroughly impressed, and you're going to be thoroughly enjoying the personage of Dr. Renee Sunday. Now, before I officially bring Dr. Sunday on, I'm just going to run down just a little bit, and I do mean just a little bit, of her bio. Now, Dr. Renee Sunday provides coaching and advice to over 197,000 unique connections and growing via www.reneesunday.com. Her social media channels and her Good Deeds radio show are part of her media company. Dr. Renee Sunday, excuse me, at her core is humanitarian and has always been deeply inspired by helping others from all walks of life. Dr. Renee Sunday is an award-winning 20-year practicing doctor in the area of anesthesiology, media coach, self-help, and motivational speaker, also known as a grief and loss counselor, and as an ordained minister as well, guys. Check that out. Hallelujah. By the time Dr. Renee was in her teen years, she had experienced life's ugly side, being bullied and nicknamed Olive Oil for her tall stature and clothing appearance, because she's saying here everything she wore was simply too short. Now, guys, and we'll talk later, because how much of that was actually hating, but that's another topic. We'll talk about that a little bit. Her deep drive for humanity was born out of this place where she felt humanity needed to be in place more. Now, Dr. Renee Sunday was named the 100 top anesthesiologist in the country by Consumer Research Council of America. Hear me as I say, that's just a smidgen of all of the things that this Renaissance woman has been involved in. So, guys, help me to welcome Dr. Renee Sunday. Dr. Sunday, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Listen, we are excited about having you here. After looking through your resume and going and checking out Good Deeds and seeing the type of individuals that you interview and work with, and the radio station and the whole nine. And as being one that hate doctors when it comes to going, how men are. So I said, okay. I said, she's an anesthesiologist, so she knows how to work that thing. So we'll give you a pass on that. But listen, if you would, as we get started, I don't like asking a lot of cookie cutter questions and all that kind of thing. If you'd like to share with us a little bit more about the bullying, but we've been talking about bullying forever. And if I can just start it off with that, because I want to set the tone. And the reason I want to set the tone is because our children struggle so much, and our parents struggle on how to keep the children encouraged and move forward. So if you don't mind, will you share with us a little bit about this bullying that you had to endure as a youngster?
Well, yeah, everyone knows about my Southern twang, that I'm originated from Birmingham, Alabama. Woo-hoo! And my parents, I did have the awesome opportunity. My mom and dad was in one household. We did grow up in poverty. And I really didn't know, can I be honest, that I lived in poverty until I got into 11th grade. All this time, I didn't realize, because I had a solid foundation at home, which was Christian based. But when I wore glasses since the 3rd grade. I wore glasses and I was very tall, and I was left-handed. So all left-handed people, if you remember, I'm dating how old I am. All left-handed people and all tall stature people had to sit in the back of the class. Mm-hmm. And so what would happen with that, people would actually make fun of me in regards to my name. They would say I was the Sunday girl, I was the church girl. And then when I started wearing glasses, I was four-eyed, and I was tall four-eyed. And then a lot of people started calling me Olive Oil, and people, from the cartoon. Yes. And really what happened for a while, it really didn't bother me. But when it got to the point that many people were doing it, meaning kids, right? Gratefully, not, the adults. And so I came home to my parents crying one day, and my mom, you didn't want to, I didn't want to tell my parents, but I went on and told them what was happening. And so I still remember this to today when I actually go through situations. My mom said that I was beautiful and I was wonderfully made. I was standing in front of the mirror and I looked at it and I said, I am beautiful. I am wonderful. And she inspired that into me. And my dad, when he got home, he said it as well. And then at that time, my sister told me that as well. So I had that great support system. So really, you have to get it outside of you so you can actually get that support. But I felt much better, and that actually built my self-esteem, because really I was allowing it to, and I didn't know that then as a child, but it was making me feel bad. It was making me feel like I couldn't accomplish anything. But I was so grateful that I had a support system that actually could build me back up. And then I was a Wonder Woman then. I actually ended up loving to look at Wonder Woman on TV. I had to get my cape. I was really powerful after that. But I really know what kids are going through when they say that someone is saying something bad about them. And of course, social media takes it to a whole nother level. But the key is, like I tell, the parents need to always support their kids. You got to do that. You have to have an avenue that they can actually talk to you. I mean, seriously talk to you, not hold things inside. And then you have to support them and then let the school know what's really going on with that. Because if we don't help our kids at that age, if I really didn't nip that in the bud, guess what? Me as an adult now, I still will be going through those same situations every day and not being able to accomplish the things that I was created for.
That's why when I mentioned setting the tone, because I didn't share with our audience that our topic tonight is realities of life infused with fairy tales. And as you and I were corresponding back and forth, and I looked at your Renaissance-ness. I'm making up a word now. I looked at your Renaissance-ness and I said, wow, this is where all the things that she's doing, and especially when you have the courage, and I do mean the courage, to put in being bullied and called a name and that kind of thing. I said, let's talk tonight about realities of life infused with fairy tales, and that's exactly what you're sharing with us. Which, if we can segue into perseverance, if you can share a little bit about, because obviously you persevered. I mean, that's very obvious. Can you share with the audience a little bit about perseverance and maybe some of the things that inspired you to persevere, even though you've touched on it already, but can you expand a little bit more as perseverance goes?
I would love to do that, because we have to do this in this world, and especially being a lady. Forgive me, but we still have a lot that we have to do as women. We have to be able to take care of home. We have to take care of our family, and then we got to obtain our dreams as in the world as well. But perseverance, when I look back over my life, I realized that I was doing. And actually, let me say this real quickly. A lot of people now come back to me and say that they knew I was going to be this. They knew I was going to be multifaceted. They knew I was going to be a great leader. And I would say to them, why you didn't tell me about that? But the thing about it is, I think Bishop Jake says it all the time about art, and I think Tony Robbins refers to it. Well, a leader, are you born into it or you learn it? And I think both of them collectively say is a combination of both. The thing about it is we do have to go through pain to get actually to triumph, to get to our purpose. And I'm so grateful that I did have a support team that didn't, my family, and people around me in my circle that didn't allow me to sit down, didn't allow me to get in depression, didn't allow me to have anxiety. They pushed me on. And so actually how I actually even got in the medical field, because I was that nagging sister that always bothered my sister, and that she's a family practice physician, and I just followed in her footsteps. But perseverance is very important. You can't give up. Let me tell you the reality that came to me when I realized, especially when I graduated high school. I know we going way back, but it makes a big difference. When I graduated elementary school,
I just want you to lay it out there, B.
Yeah.
Don't have no apprehension, because I'm looking at my other monitors, and I see thumbs going up and hearts. So keep it rolling.
Oh, so they understand what coming. Even in high school, elementary school, I was the well, they didn't call it valedictorian then, but I was the president of my class. I was the first person that made, the high grades, if you want to call it that, in elementary school. Then high school, I was the class valedictorian. And then when I even went to college, I made great grades. And then here go medical school. But the point I'm trying to say is, if I didn't see a glimpse of that light, that I actually can change the world. Now, I did say this, if anyone can relate, I did say that I grew up in poverty. I did say I grew up in Birmingham, Alabama. What I didn't say, but I interjected right here, is my dad was part of the civil rights movement with Dr. Martin Luther King. He was there when all that happened, when Dr. Martin Luther King was arrested in Birmingham. Okay. Also, my mom was part of the boycott when the boys boycott. So all them stories was instilled in me. And then when I went to elementary school, my third grade teacher was one of the parents that their child was in the bombing at the church. You hear me? So wow. Let me tell you, Miss Chris McNair, I never will forget her. But I had all this positive influence around me. But and I know somebody want to say, I know someone gonna say this, well, I don't have positive around me. The great thing I can say right now about social media, you can have mentors, you can have coaches from afar. I mean, I think I hear something every day about Bishop Jakes, every day about Oprah, every day about Michelle and President Obama. The thing is, you can still glean from people not without touching them. That's the point I'm saying. But persevere. You have to have that in your, what they used to say, the mojo, that inner being in yourself, that you want to make a difference. And I knew I wanted to make a difference because my parents suffered so in regards to the civil rights movement. Even my parents used to sneak me money, a $20 bill and all that, for me to go to medical school, so I had extra money for food. So all of that made a difference of how I wanted to give back. And then when people say, you're a rare commodity being an African-American female and being an anesthesiologist, you know how some people don't want that calling, if you want to call it, don't want that. Yeah. I'm okay being a role model, because if my loving babies, male and female, don't see an example, if they don't see they can do it, how can they do it? And I'm not saying it can be it can be any person. You can do it if you actually see somebody else doing it. So you have to do it, because we're depending on you. We need the millennials, but you know what? It's not too late. Even if you're 60, 70, whatever age you are, you can still do what that burning inside. That's your dreams, your goals, the reason when you were born. It's not too late. So you have to do it. I say a little saying all the time on social media. I said, don't stop, get it. And we got to get it, because I cannot truly be in my purpose if you're not in your purpose. And I know that was a long answer, but I had to go back to the roots of the thing for you to see where I am right now, because a lot of people leave that out. They leave out what the root was, but they end up seeing the beautiful flower or the beautiful butterfly. But let me show you what we went through as a child to get to where I am right now.
Allow me to say this, Dr. Sunday. That was not a long answer. The answer is very apropos, which quite honestly segue us right into one of my next questions I want to ask about personal growth. And you are talking about personal growth right now. So don't worry about the answer being long. I mean, you're right on point. So please keep rolling. I mean, how does personal growth factor into what you just shared with us when it comes to perseverance?
Wow, this is a great question and much needed. I think, you know how, okay, all the things that that you stated that I do, I have to make sure the first thing I do is make sure my mind is right. Make sure my mindset. Now, just think, you want an anesthesiologist, of course, you want me to be on point. You want me to know what I'm doing, and you want me to not bring what's at home to the job. But the thing is, my mindset, personal development is very important, because if I don't believe that I can do it, if I don't have assurance in my own head that I can achieve a goal, it's never going to happen. A lot of my clients that come, they say, I want to do this, that, and that. I want to do 6 figures, 7 figures. Well, yeah, but then as soon as they get off the phone or leave my presence, they're going to say, I can't do this because I went through this. I went through domestic violence. I went through, grew up in poverty. We have to do that on a regular basis. Because let me tell you, I told you that my parents supported me through the bullying. But let me tell you, when they tried to raise his head again is when I became an entrepreneur. Okay, because people don't realize, even though I took all that schooling to be an anesthesiologist, being an entrepreneur, you have to set rules and regulations, okay, for your business. Now, I do that in anesthesia all the time, but you know what? I'm not going to go against what the state and the country has gave us guidelines, but I'm making my own system. I'm making my own projects. You see what I'm saying? So, of course, that came back and tried to raise his head, saying, well, you grew up in poverty. How you going to have a $1 million business? But you know what? I had to squash that, and I had to squash that real quickly. And I have to tell everyone, it's okay to go to counseling. I'm so glad I nipped it in the bud, but the good thing is I have several friends that's counselors. So I got on the phone. I said, you got to talk to me, because but and we have to do that. It's okay to have counseling. It's okay to have, I say you need to have at least one, I don't know what the kids call it now, but we used to call it BFF. You need to have at least one BFF that you can call and say, hey, I don't want to do my business today. I don't want to go to work. What are we going to do with this situation we got going on? We can't even go outside. All of that. We have to make sure we keep our minds stable. We have to have motivation. We have to, not just motivation, because a lot of times people can motivate you, but the difference in motivation and being inspired, if you have an inspiration, guess what? You're going to actually do action. And see, that's what we mess up. We're totally motivated, but what action are we actually doing? So we have to make sure we have that BFF say, oh, let me call you right quick. You need to get me straight. And you need to be that for somebody else as well. But we have to remember, personal development doesn't go away. And I have to say this, when people come to me, want to write a book, want to start their business, whatever they want to do, I always start every session with mindset. Where's your mind at today? We have to deal with that, because think about it. The things we do on social media, we can tell somebody what we want to write on social media. We can get a graphic designer to make the graphics. We can get someone to do our sales strategy. I mean, think about these big wigs like Tony Robbins. They have sales team. So the thing is, in that situation, I need to know how to respond. So if I don't respond the right way, nothing's going to happen, especially in what's going on in this season now. People don't know if they come in left or right. Everybody want to make money, but we got to remember that you got to believe it in your head first. The easy thing is making the money, because I can throw things out there, but if I don't believe it, it's not going to happen. So personal development, you hit a big one. I think of all the things I do, I'm an avid reader. I think I would say 80% of the stuff that I read is personal development, and the other 20% is kind of business related or faith-based, because we got to keep our minds stable in order for us to be able to make the right decisions.
That's very powerful. As you share this with us and with our audience in this conversation, you alluded earlier is that you unfortunately had to see the bullying kind of rear its ugly head again once you decide to be an entrepreneur. And so if we can talk about that a little bit as we talk about the perseverance and the personal growth and the approaching of, and the kids call it haters, and the I don't want to say what advice would you give, but can you share with us maybe some techniques, one or two, for people to best handle that? Because we know we'll always have the naysayers, we will always have the negaholics, and we've all heard that someone else is making it happen while you're saying that it can't happen. The universal you. So as the haters, can you give us a few pointers?
Oh, yes. What I've learned in my life, because I've been doing anesthesia for 20 years and been in business pretty much that long as well. I've learned that a lot of people are not going to like what you do, and some just going to be lookers. They're going to look on to see what you're going to do. And then some of them actually try to get as close as they can so they can actually try to make you fail or try to put a wrench in the situation or even just talk about you. But you know what? It's kind of good when people talk about you, because that means they doing free advertisement. I heard this. I can't remember who said that, but that's free advertising when somebody actually says something negative about you. And the thing about it is, let me tell you this example that I can't remember who said it, but it was an example. If you actually see a person, we'll take a man, for example, that have a lot of muscles. And if you tell that man, you just don't have any muscle, he gonna look at you and not gonna even worry about what you say, right? But if you go to a smaller person that don't have muscle, they gonna be, what you talking about? It's the key is how I'm receiving it. So if you tell me that I'm nasty and I know I'm not nasty, it's how I'm going to respond to what you have said. So I think what people need to realize is don't respond, especially, I have to say it, especially on social media. We can't respond. And I wish I could just really go around the world and talk to all millennials. Don't respond. Because let me tell you, when my niece went to college, she's in graduate school now, I'm so proud of her. When she went for that interview, they had her Instagram as part of the interview. Okay. The grateful thing is she had, put nothing bad on there, but going to jobs and all that type of stuff, they look at your social media. So don't get that upset that you want to respond on social media. I always say, take a deep breath and just breathe. And then think about how wonderful you are. Think about the goals and dreams that you have, because you're going to have people talk about you. And I forgot who said that, but they said that's free advertisement, that people talking about you. But we have to, let's go back to the bullying just for a minute. We have to listen to our kids. People say, well, Dr. Sunday, you don't have kids. But let me tell you, I have 25 God kids. So my house is pretty full at times and with them. But one thing I've heard them over talk, you can hear the kids talking. And they said they like coming over here because allow them. You heard the word, allow them to express themselves. So you see what I'm saying? So the thing about it is kids want to talk. They want to say things, but the key is they want someone that show that they really love you. And my mom and dad always say it's not a book out there for parenting. But what we have to realize is our parents are doing the best or did the best, if you're, past that stage, that they could do with what they were equipped to do. So forgive them. I know sometimes it's some real deep stuff in there that you wear down. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Wear down in there that you don't want to talk about. But they did the best, because think about it. If you really get in their history, it happened to them as well. So what we have to do is get beyond that, because somebody right now, guess what? Somebody right now need what you have. Somebody right now might be praying. Somebody right now, let's just be real, maybe thinking about hurting themselves or hurting somebody else. But you have the solution. I don't believe in, how they say a saturated market. No, start your platform because you have a message to share, and you share it in a way that nobody else can because you have your uniqueness of who you are. So always be a listener. You know, parents, try to listen. I know. Yeah, when I have a house full, I know, but try to listen to them because they have a lot to say. They actually make us do a double take because they telling us something that we didn't even think about. But they actually, you know how people say they the future, but they are our right now. We can actually, my generation in the 50s, I'm in the 50 group. The 50 can hang out with the 20 and the 30, but we can all have harmony because they have ideas and we actually have ideas, and we can come together to really make, you know, life better here on earth. I know we're going to heaven, but here on earth, we can actually work together and have harmony.
Super. Listen, may I ask, in your profession, being an anesthesiologist, being a TV personality, being an entrepreneur, etc., and being an ordained minister, is there ever a clash with people that you work with because they see you only as an anesthesiologist, or they see you only as that person that's on Good Deeds TV, or they see you only as that person that has expressed and has shown that you are an ordained minister? And I noticed several times you and I have you use phrases, you know, like maybe pray or something like that. Do you find that a hindrance or a positive, that people can see all three phases, or are they just stuck on the fact of trying to departmentalize you for their own comfort?
Now, that's a great question. And I think, you know, my last name brings a lot into the world. When I actually have the hat on, if you will, as being an anesthesiologist, when I say I'm Dr. Renee Sunday, usually, and I can almost say 10 out of 10, but I'll say 9 out of 10. Usually people have a smile. I mean, usually people think about the day Sunday, or they think about ice cream Sunday, because most of my patients hadn't had anything to eat. It's usually a joyful experience. And then too, what I have learned in the 20 years of doing this, a lot of patients come in, and a majority of them come in, they nervous, they hungry, and they really don't know what to expect because they may have been in this situation before, they may not. But just think real quick. Let me just tell you this. It's going to make you guys laugh. When I shake a patient's hand, I've already touched them. You know, now we got the, you know, with the isolation, but we still got to do our job. But I shake their hand, then I have to listen to their heart and lungs. So I've already have prayed for them before I even got there. I think the staff that I have worked with, the places I go, people have said that I bring a light wherever I go. I've actually had patients that ask me, can I pray? You see what I'm saying? But they don't have to ask me because I've already prayed for them anyway. You know, in my secret place, you don't have to say it openly. But I really haven't had a clash. I have had the awesome opportunity of speaking in conferences that they don't even believe the same thing I believe. But let me tell you, people come up to me afterwards and say, what is that light that you have? What is that energy that you have? You see what I'm saying? And then I get an opportunity of sharing it. You know, because you don't have to, I'm going to just say, you don't have to say God every other word to show what you believe. Just being fair to people, being honest. And I tend to I brighten people up with my personality. So I really gratefully haven't had a clash with it. I really have learned when to express one more than the other, but it all comes in the same package. I haven't had a problem with people saying, well, I don't believe what you believe. Usually, most of my patients, when they hear the name Sunday, they are the one that say, well, dog, that's Sunday, day I go to church. Or if it's someone of faith, they say, oh, I feel so good now because I have a person named Dr. Sunday. So the grateful thing, I haven't had a clash with it, but it all comes together. And I know when to interject things and not interject things, but it really has worked out for me and especially having the awesome opportunity of being clergy, then being also in media, and then, and then being an anesthesiologist, because I actually can bring all that to the table to be able to give you all the sides, to be able to make it come to actually one major decision of what needs to be done, because a lot of people try to keep it separate, but actually it's all together.
But also, Dr. Sunday, we again let me share with our other vocal guest here. We have excuse me, Mr. Wonderful, and just want to share, Mr. Wonderful, if you want to come on and FaceTime and ask any questions of Dr. Sunday, please feel free to do that, kind sir. You can grab one of these spots, or if you want to put it in the comment section. And we have who is this? Janice from Oklahoma. Janice's question is, she's saying, do you find as a woman that it's tougher to work in the medical field? And Janice, you want to? I'm just. You want to write me something else, or just okay? No, she said, do you feel that as a woman it's tougher to work in the medical field?
Well, yes, I've had some challenges. I could even go back to when I was in, not really in medical school, because it was a majority of the class was women, but really when I started doing my clinicals and then also working in the hospital, I've had challenges. I've had people, let's keep it 100. I've had people, I'll say I'm Dr. Sunday, and then they'll turn right back and say Miss Sunday. And when I was younger, it used to bother me. And actually, it's so interesting. The younger people, the millennial, they actually will defend you. They'll say, no, she said Dr. Sunday. But I've learned to pick my battles. I'm not saying that I'm letting them, quote unquote, get away with something, but I know what battles I need to take care or not. You see what I'm saying? So it has been difficult. Actually, I just got an awesome opportunity to come up for me. A lot of younger anesthesiologists that actually are women have been contacting me through social media and saying they need mentorship, because they say that they are getting a lot of, like she just said, the question, they're getting a lot of flack, if you will, or challenges being a female. The thing that I always do is, and my parents taught me this, what you can always battle back or fight back, if you will, is education. What that means, I know what I'm talking about. I'm not boasting. I'm really not boasting by saying that, but I know what I'm talking about. And if I have to go toe to toe with you with something, I'm going to do that, especially if I know I'm right. Now, I'm the first person to say, oh, no, I don't know. Let me research that. I don't know. But if I know what I know, I'm going to let you know. And the thing about it, the colleagues that I have worked with, they respect that. They know when I come on the scene that I know what I'm talking about. So that's one thing I advise young people: know what you know, especially women. I make sure I do my due diligence. So when I go into a contract, I'm going to say the same price as a counterpart. Okay. I'm going to say, you know what I'm saying? But my track record has made room for me and the things that I do, but I don't take it personal, and I make sure I know what I'm doing. I make sure I come in the room ready and actually there. Because let me tell you this, every patient, this how I've been very blessed as well, that if you Google it, they say most physicians have been sued at least, what they say, I think 3 to 4 times in their career. Well, gratefully, I have not. In 20 years, I'm grateful. But what I do is I actually treat every patient like they're my family member. And that actually takes away all of that about that, this, that, and this, the difference. But I make sure when I come in the room, I know what I'm talking about. And I'll be the first one to say if I need to research it or not. And patients respect that. They rather you say you're going to research it than tell them something that's not true. And that has afforded me that actually for the last, let me say, 5 years. No, was it 5 years? I do a lot of part-time because I do a lot of the other hats that I carry. And then in being in ministry, I work a lot of part-times. And what comes with that is I'm at a lot of different hospitals. And they always calling for me to come back. When you coming back, Dr. Sunday? They so excited when I come. Because when I come in the room, I'll make sure I know what I'm talking about. And then I actually bring that light, if you will, or I bring that joy that I'm happy to be there. And I'm there to serve the patients. Not for all that, other stuff.
Wow, you know what? That actually brings me to our final question, and it's really not a question. I just like as in your ministerial realm and in your counsel realm, really the topic that I decided to ask you, could we talk about tonight, and that is realities of life infused with fairy tales. In your ministerial walk and in your counseling background, and you've already told us that you treat your patients like they're family, etc. And anyone would appreciate that. And how many times have you experienced colleagues, let's say? I mean, we're not asking for any names, anything like that, but colleagues, because that their reality of life is confused. I use the word confused with fairy tales. With the maybe if what I actually would like to ask when I talk about this topic, realities of life infused with fairy tales, is that person, in the old days, they called it two-faced. They show you one personality over here, but the personality that really manifests itself is the one that's not really one that God would be pleased with. Not that you're passing judgment, but how would you work through that if someone were to express to you that they were having that difficulty in the workplace?
Now that's a great point, because I've been doing a lot of counseling. Some people they don't even want to be in the field anymore. They always ask me a lot of questions because I wear a lot of hats. I do, entrepreneurship, is outside of anesthesia. I think what we have to do, and what was that saying back in the 90s that we fake it till we make it? I think we have made that
fake it till you make it, yeah.
Far. We went too far on that, and people actually, what they were faking, they actually believe it, but they don't see the evidence of it. So a lot of people have become so frustrated, even to the point of anxiety, depression, that they have triggered even mental illness. Let's just be real with that. And I think what we have to do when you alone by yourself, if you married or not, have kids or not, we need to know truly who we are. And I mentioned earlier about having a BFF. Sometimes that's a family member. Sometimes that is not a family member. Sometimes that may be your counselor. We have to have someone, and I think the kids call it venting. You have to have someone that you can talk to, that you trust. Let me put that in there. You have to be able to trust them, because you don't want it ended up on social media or something like that. I have had people, especially in ministry and counseling, to share some things that, that is confidential. I mean, because that's who I am, and that's what the profession brings. But what I always tell people, you need to know who you are. If you can sit down on the couch, bed, or chair and don't know who you are, you really need to have personal development. Going back to the personal development, because we just become a robot. I know with all the intelligence that we have, the telephone can do all this, and now we got cars that can drive themselves. But who are you? Because one thing they haven't tapped in on is what this mind is really doing. They really don't know. And I'm in medicine. I'll say it. We really don't know what this mind is really doing. So what we need to do is search ourselves And first of all, everybody is unique. So don't compare yourself with anybody. All of us have different DNA. All of us have goals and dreams. But I always tell this example is we all need to come together just like a pizza. All come together like the moon, the sun, and actually work together to make this have harmony. Because it is, some people have things, the old days, I think we called it Dr. Jekyll and Miss Hyde kind of thing. They one way here and one way there. But what we need to do at the end of the day, we need to sit down and know truly who we are. And we can't, as you mentioned, never pass judgment, because something that I have conquered, somebody else may have a concern with it. And that's the great opportunity that you can actually give them tools and strategies of how you got over that. So we have to get out of that mindset of passing judgment. Because my dad used to always say this, and I'm, no pun intended, whatever you do in the dark gonna come to the light. Because usually the same person that's talking, the same person that's making judgment, they doing something that's gonna be exposed at any day. So what we need to do is be proud that we're living, proud that we have an opportunity to instill in somebody else. And my old saying is, and I can't remember the old gospel song, but it used to be, we used to hear it on the way when my dad was driving. If I do one thing, that means to help somebody else. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Then my living would not be in vain.
Let me help somebody as I go along the way.
There you go. You know what I'm talking
about.
Yes,
I do.
So we gotta help each other in this thing. Because, okay, I'm sorry.
No, listen. Why are you sorry? Because remember what I said, and I will say even though it's politically incorrect. I was sharing with you on this show. We are real. We just keep it real, and we like individuals to express themselves and carry that. So never apologize, because you are who you are. And see, that's a perfect ending to the question you just answered. You are not pretending to be someone else. You are being Dr. Renee Sunday. And what can be more pure than that? We sadly, many times we confuse the fact of having flaws with not being the person that we are. And you've just shared, you say, "Oh, I'm sorry." And no, you're not. I won't accept that. I won't accept it, because you have just given. So listen, I do appreciate you being with us. And once we get off air, if you just stick around for a few minutes, and I have one or two questions I want to ask you off air. But but listen, guys, let me say this. I know you have been thoroughly helped with Dr. Sunday, and we're going to ask Dr. Sunday if she will share with you ways in which you may contact her for further pensive conversation, any questions you might have for her. Dr. Sunday, would you share with our audience how they might contact you?
Well, thank you, first of all, for allowing me. Great conversation, great platform, and I just love it. But the easy way, we've done all our branding, and that's a clue for somebody. Put everything in one container so people can find you. But actually, our website is reneesunday.com. So actually what you can do is all the social media is reneesunday.com. But then if you think about it, didn't she say she was a doctor? So if you put Dr. reneesunday.com, all of it still come up. We on the Instagram, LinkedIn, we pretty much everywhere. We'll be on that TikTok very shortly, okay? But the easy way, the website is reneesunday.com. That's RENEE Sunday, SUNDAY.com. And it's the same thing on all the social media platforms. And Dr., if you think about it, said, did she say she was a doctor? It'll come up as well. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Dr. Sunday. And for our new listeners, Dr. Sunday, we have some new listeners tonight. That's wonderful. For our new listeners, I am Melvin Lars, the host and executive producer of the Nobody Asked Me Guy show. And it's very easy to find me if you go to www.dyingonmyfeet.com. Once you get there, you will find all of my social media contacts. Also, let me encourage you to get my latest book. My latest book is titled Mothers and Their Smen, an introspective look at mothers rearing their sons. We wanted to give moms a voice. No one ever give moms a voice. And there's so much talk about moms and sons and single parents. And as Dr. Sunday alluded to earlier, with her parents saying, well, you know, it doesn't come, rearing children doesn't come with a book, nor does mine. What it does is we give people the opportunity to express themselves and to talk. You can get that book on, Barnes and Noble, or you can go to my website. It's called, again, Mothers and Their Men. Now, I coined the word SMEN because many times as a son, we have to be the son and respectfully the man in many instances. So we want to have that conversation. So again, thank all of you for joining us. And again, to Miss Janice from Tulsa, Oklahoma. She was the only one that decided to ask a question tonight. But Janice, we do appreciate you very much. So Dr. Sunday, listen, it's been great. I would love to have you on again and we talk about some more material. However, I know that our time has already been exceeded. So guys, thank you so very much from the No Big Guy Show.